Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon. Here is the national news from BGI TV, Baba Bagide Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines regularly for the national news. Tinubu, food abundance will address Japa syndrome, hunger, poverty, DOT. Only INEC can determine how results can be collated, transmitted, quote. 32 survivors of Ikeja train bus accident discharged from hospital. And lastly, on sports, Nigerian players set Europe alight ahead of Guinea-Bissau double header. Now the news in detail. A former commissioner for agriculture and food security in Ekiti State, Dr. Olabode Adetoyi, has asked the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to focus on food abundance as it's the panacea to Japa syndrome, hunger, health challenges, and social vices. Adetoyi, who spoke to journalists on Wednesday in Lagos, noted that data from World Bank, United Nations, International Monetary Fund, and other international development agencies were pointing to Nigeria as a poverty capital of the world, with more than 67% of the population in abject poverty and more than 28% of the populace are not with jobs. He stated that the magic wand as solutions to the menaces was massive investment in agricultural value chain. Going on to the next story. A federal high court in Abuja has ruled that only the Independent National Electoral Commission is empowered by the law to determine the mode of collating and transmitting elections results. Justice Emeka Nwite also held that only INEC had the prerogative to direct how a polling unit presiding officer should transfer election results, including the total number of accredited voters and results of the ballot. Justice Nwite further held that collating and transferring election results manually in the 2023 general elections could not be said to be contrary to the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. The judgment was on a suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/1454/2022, filed by the Labour Party with INEC as a sole defendant. The LP had prayed the court to declare that INEC has no power to opt for a manual method other than the electronic method provided by the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. Moving on to the next story from Lagos State. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, says 32 survivors of the train and bus accident that occurred in Lagos on Thursday have been discharged from different hospitals in the state. Abayomi said this during a news conference while updating reporters on the incident in Lagos yesterday. The commissioner said that the accident recorded 102 casualties, including 6 fatalities. According to him, all the patients were presently in stable medical condition. He said that 19 survivors of the accident were discharged from the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASIT, 5 from the Tollgate Trauma Center, and 8 from Orilagige General Hospital. He added that all the victims with varying degrees of injuries and life-threatening conditions were admitted and treated at LASIT. Going on to the next story, Kaduna State. Bandits on Friday morning in Karimbu Kaugu community in Lere local government area of Kaduna State killed the pastor's son and kidnapped 4 members of his family, including his wife. The vice chairman, Kaugu National Development Association in Lere local government area, Peter Mukaddes, said the bandits invaded the community in the early hours of Friday morning, went straight to the pastor's house and carried out the attack. According to him, the bandits shot the pastor's son when he resisted them, and thereafter abducted his wife and 3 others in the house. Mukaddes called on the state government to intervene and rescue the captured and abducted victims on earth. We are fervently praying to God to touch their hearts so that they can see the wisdom to release them, he said. There was yet no communication between the bandit and the family of the victims at the time of filing this report. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State Police Command Public Relations Officer, DSC Muhammad Jalige, did not pick call, which was Putis, just as he did not respond to text message sent to him either. Moving on to the next story on sports. Flying Eagles winger Jude Sunday claimed the Man of the Match award following the side's emphatic win against Tunisia at the Cairo International Stadium on Friday afternoon. Lademboso's side trashed the young Carthage Eagles 4-0 to win bronze medal at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations Under-20. Sunday, who was handed his first of the competition by Boso, scored twice in the win. The 19-year-old dribbled past 3 defenders to score the Flying Eagles' third goal on 49th minute. He then scored the fourth with a rasping shot from inside the box a minute from time. Ibrahim Mohammed and Ahmed Abdullahi were also on target for the Flying Eagles in the game. And to the second sports story, which ends the national news this hour. Nigeria will take on Guinea-Bissau in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier in the next fortnight. The Super Eagles hold the first leg on Friday, March 24, and are away 3 days later. The three-time African champions are already on top on Group A, having won their first 2 fixtures and are 2 points ahead of Guinea-Bissau. So having the better of the judges over the 2 legs will prove to be crucial in deciding the final outcome of the group. No doubt the head coach of Nigeria, Jose Peseiro, is looking to invite some of the top squad members for the 2 games. It won't be a problem for Peseiro, as some of the names expected to be called up are doing brilliantly in their respective clubs. Of course, there is Napoli's Victor Osimhen. It took Osimhen just 197 games to score 100 goals in Europe, faster than some of the all-time greats. That ends the national news this hour from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Food abundance will address Japa syndrome, hunger, poverty, Adewi, and the name still stands at Adetui. Only INEC can determine how results can be collated, transmitted, court declares. We're also brought to you 32 survivors of Ikeja train/bus accident discharged from hospital. And finally, on sport, Sunday Scoop's Man of the Match award after Flying Eagles win against Tunisia in the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations going on in Egypt, with the finals will come tomorrow, Sunday. Thank you for watching. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For other placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on the screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Revila Lawa. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.